looking at the agenda, not a whole heck of a lot on the agenda for this evening, but starting with two really fascinating presentations.
Yeah, the first one is the needs assessment study, the report on that for the senior services. This was conducted by the Senior Services Division and the Dr. Muchler from the Center of Social and Demographic Research on Aging and Gerontology Institute, as well as the John W. McCormick School of Policy and Global Studies, University of Mass Boston, will be there to give an overview of the study, which was undertaken in 2014. Our aging population, which we have 28% of our population is over the age of 60 in the town of Barnstable alone. And that's projected to grow by 2030 to over 40%. So they were looking for services that the senior center might need to implement to keep up with the aging population. So this will give us a brief of that. I also want to say too that on Friday, October 23rd, from 9 to 10:30 at the Senior Center, they're inviting people to join in to share the findings and recommendations from the study at a forum there. There is an RSVP requested, and they're serving continental breakfast. But you can contact the Barnstable Senior Center at 508-862-4750. If you'd like to hear firsthand about it, if you can't listen in on tonight's meeting.
Sure. And really looking forward to seeing the results of that study. I know they did a number of focus groups and lots of discussions with the 50 and 60 plus population here in town. So looking forward to seeing what the results of this are and how that's going to perhaps move things forward over at the Senior Center.
Yeah. They do a great things over there, though. And you think of seniors. I was supposed to be interviewed for the project. Kept missing the fellow that was supposed to connect with me, but here I am, one of those that fall into that category myself. So our seniors are really youthful nowadays. So
yes,
not just sitting in a rocker; they're doing a lot of other things.
Without a doubt. And one of those things probably cycling as well, biking, and that brings us to the next presentation, which is Patricia Domigan of the Massachusetts Municipal Services going to be talking about a shared use bike path project on the service road. Now, I will say, Jessica, the service road is what I use for hill training. It's not necessarily a flat and easy bike ride, but it's a good place to ride. So tell me a little bit about this presentation.
Yeah, well, this project is a connection between Yarmouth and Barnstable. As you know, the rail trail exists to a certain point in or starts in West Yarmouth, near West Yarmouth Road and whatnot. And this is a shared use path that will extend into Barnstable, crossing over, and there's a proposal for a rest stop near the Higgins Kroll area, and a Willow Street pedestrian bridge over the Willow Street section, and then following along, not right on the service road, but near the service road, yeah. And eventually, I think the entire Cape will be have a connected path, which is exciting. And but this is one that, and I will say too that Patricia is from VHB, which is Vanas Hangen Ruslan. They're the engineers on the project here, the planners and engineers.
Excellent. Really looking forward to that. So exciting to think of one day being able to ride across in all of Cape Cod on a bike path. Really,
yeah,
very exciting. So after those presentations, some items under old business, starting with appointments to boards, committees, and commissions.
Yeah, our appointments of the Youth Commission and Planning Board, welcoming new members there, and reappointments to the Personnel Board as well. And then I know this is the next item, the appropriation for $490,000 for the Barnstable Harbor Outer Entrance Dredge Project, and this is a necessary project. The shoaling that takes place throughout that channel and it could impede the access to the commercial vehicles, especially the large whale watch vessels and some of the large fishing vessels out of there. Some of the dredge spoils will be going overland to nourishing the Sandy Neck spots on Sandy Neck, which is a good thing too. As you know, that north-facing lands really receives a beating in our winter months.
Absolutely. And so there's a public hearing on that, $490,000.
As well as the next item, which is the temporary repair to private roads program.
Yes.
And that's on Governor's Way in Barnstable. And this program, too, is when you have 51% of the homeowners on a private road that'd like to see improvement on that road, they agree to a betterment, and the town assists with getting the road repaired. It does not become a town road; it just becomes an improved road, and then the betterment is distributed amongst all the abutters.
Absolutely.
So that's a great program. That's one where it's not really a heavily used road, so it couldn't fall into the private repair with public funds legislation that was passed last year, because this is not a connecting road or a high-use road, but rather few residents on it. So.
Absolutely.
That's a good program.
Indeed. And then the next is, again, another public hearing on an additional funding to help finish that project over at Hyannis Golf Course, the ADA compliant.
Yeah,
bathrooms.
I guess there were previous appropriations for the renovation of the clubhouse to provide some handicap accessibility restrooms and some other work, and they ran into some asbestos issues, which that asbestos isn't just in wall boards, but it can be found in joint compounds and floor tiles, and so when that's discovered, then a little bit more care and a specialist has to be brought in, and so that and they also found some issues with the original construction of the building, so they want to correct that. So.
Absolutely. And then the last one, really excited about this interesting project from the DPW, the appropriation for funding for a GPS for the DPW vehicles.
Yeah. So, with I think the Public Works Department has over 150 pieces of equipment, the trucks and the sanders and loaders and whatnot. It's difficult to manage all those people during a blizzard or heavy snow conditions, and so this will allow the Department of Public Works to keep track of where all those vehicles are, and it's displayed on this large smart board back at the response center, and this will also allow them to dispatch if they know that there's a vehicle close by and they've run into an issue, which we ran into last year during the winter storms, that some roads weren't getting plowed, and so this will help to alleviate that. It will not only be in our town-owned vehicles, but I believe these will be issued to the subcontractors that we employ during the snow.
Absolutely,
season.
absolutely, and a public hearing on that as well. And just one item, Jessica, tonight under new business.
This is a resolve approving a conservation restriction on the land that was purchased with community preservation funding, and this is in Centerville, and this is near the Lumbert Pond. There's a large area of conservation land there, and it's on Harju Road, and this will allow the conservation restriction to be placed on that land.
Great. Jessica, anything else about tonight's meeting that you feel our viewers should be aware of?
No, I know. As always, if you need to submit a comment, you may do so on the website.